My name is Noah Carter. I'm 42 years old, and I run a small cafe in upstate New York now. But before that, I used to own something more than just a cafe. I owned a legacy. A legacy my mother built from scratch. A family bakery that had stood in our town for almost 5 decades. Everyone knew it. Everyone loved it. And everyone knew my mother, Eleanor Carter, the kindest woman who could bake pain out of a soul. She raised me and my younger sister, Brooke, in that bakery. We grew up between bags of flour and the scent of fresh cinnamon rolls. It wasn't just our livelihood, it was our childhood, our story. But a few months ago, I found myself standing outside that same bakery, not as its proud co-owner, but as a man locked out. Not by a stranger, not by a thief, but by my own sister, the same person I once shared cookie dough with on Christmas Eve. It happened 3 weeks after our mom passed. She had been sick for some time, cancer, but she fought hard. Until her very last breath, she smiled. Mom always said, "Family is everything. Protect it, no matter what." I thought we all understood that. I thought Brooke did too. But grief does strange things to people. Or maybe grief just reveals what was always hiding underneath. The morning after Mom's funeral, I walked into the bakery like I always did. Same time, same apron, same routine. But Brooke was already there, standing behind the counter, wearing Mom's old apron, the one she said she'd never wear. And beside her was a lawyer. Not ours. Not someone I'd ever seen before. She didn't even say good morning. She just said, "You don't work here anymore, Noah. It's mine now." I laughed. I thought it was a bad joke. But she was dead serious. She slid a piece of paper across the counter, smiled, and added, "Mom left it all to me. Says so right here." I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just stared at her, realizing in that moment I wasn't just losing the bakery. I was losing my sister. But here's the part she didn't know, the part she never saw coming. Yes, Mom had rewritten the will. But so had I. Long before Mom passed, she'd asked me for help reviewing her estate. She trusted me with every detail. And she insisted we do everything legally, clearly, and fairly. So yes, there was a clause. One that Brooke never bothered to read. One that would change everything. Before everything fell apart, life felt simple. Maybe too simple to ever believe it could break like glass. Our family bakery was more than just a business. It was our home. I grew up behind that counter, watching Mom knead dough, feeling the warmth of the ovens, and smelling the sweet mix of vanilla and cinnamon that filled the air every morning. Mom wasn't just a baker. She was the heart of our family. A woman whose hands shaped the bread, but whose love shaped us. My sister Brooke was younger than me by 5 years. Growing up, we were inseparable. We fought, sure, like siblings do, but always made up quickly. Especially over flour fights and frosting battles in the kitchen. Brooke had a wild streak. She was charming, quick-witted, and always ready to dream bigger than our small town. I admired that about her. She often talked about expanding the bakery one day, opening new locations, maybe even franchising. I believed her. I believed in us. After college, I came back home, full of plans and determination. Mom was proud to have us both on board. Brooke managed the bakery's day-to-day, while I handled the finances and supplies. For years it worked. We had steady customers who grew up with us. The bakery was famous for its family recipes, passed down from Mom's grandmother. It was our legacy, and it felt safe. That's why, when Mom's illness worsened, we tried to keep everything as normal as possible. We talked about the future like it was still ours to hold, plans for growth, renovations, celebrations. Mom always said, "No matter what happens, this bakery will keep us together." I clung to that promise. But somewhere along the way, I started noticing small things that didn't sit right. Brooke began showing up later. Texts went unanswered. She stopped inviting me to important meetings. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe she was just stressed. Maybe grief was hitting her harder than I realized. But then, there were money discrepancies. Bills not paid on time. Strange purchases that didn't match our usual suppliers. I confronted her once. She smiled and told me everything was under control. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to trust her. Because that's what family does. But deep down, I felt the first cracks in the foundation. I tried talking to Mom about it, but she told me to be patient, that Brooke was hurting, and we needed to support each other. I wanted to be patient. I wanted to believe. But little did I know, those cracks were growing into chasms. And the person I thought was my sister, my partner, was already building walls around me. She used to call me her hero. Then one day she stopped. After Mom passed, everything changed, but not in the way I expected. Brooke took over the bakery officially. On paper, it looked like a smooth transition. But behind closed doors, something was wrong. I noticed the subtle shifts, the way she avoided my calls, the way she closed her laptop when I walked into the room. Her texts to me became shorter, colder. I stayed silent. I didn't want to believe what my gut was screaming. I wanted to hold on to the memories of our family, the years of trust, the life we'd built. But the silence around me was deafening. The bakery's profits started dipping. Customers whispered about changes. The quality wasn't what it used to be. I knew Mom's recipes by heart, and I could tell something was off. I tried asking Brooke casually. She shrugged it off. "It's just the economy," she said, but her eyes didn't meet mine. Then there was the money. Our life savings account, where Mom had insisted we keep a backup for emergencies, started showing withdrawals that Brooke couldn't explain. At first, it was small amounts. I convinced myself maybe she paid off some debts, maybe invested somewhere, but then it got worse. Late nights at the bakery became my routine, checking books, reviewing bank statements, looking for answers. Brooke's phone was always locked now. When I asked about it, she smiled in a way that didn't reach her eyes. I started noticing other things. One night, I came home from the bakery late, and the front door was unlocked. That's when I saw it. Brooke sneaking out with a man I'd never seen before, laughing, close, familiar. I froze. I wanted to confront her, but I didn't. I stayed silent. I watched. Then one night, her phone lit up at 2:07 a.m. I saw a message from someone saved as R, a name I didn't recognize. The message read, "Everything's set. Tomorrow's the day." My heart sank. Was this about the bakery? About us? I didn't know yet, but I knew one thing for certain. The woman I thought I knew was hiding something. And I was about to find out exactly what. That night, the night her phone lit up at 2:07 a.m., changed everything. I couldn't sleep. My mind was racing, replaying every little detail I'd noticed over the past weeks. The late nights, the cold looks, the unexplained withdrawals from our savings. I decided I had to know the truth. I needed proof. I waited until Brooke fell asleep and then quietly got up. I found her phone on the kitchen counter. She had forgotten to lock it. My hands trembled as I opened it. There it was. Messages, pictures, receipts. The man she was sneaking around with wasn't just some stranger. He was her business partner. They had taken our life savings, every last dollar, and started a new bakery downtown. I stared at the photos, her smiling with him, the grand opening banner, stacks of cash. I felt a crushing weight in my chest. The woman I trusted had betrayed not just me, but the legacy Mom had worked her whole life to build. I didn't cry. Not yet. I sat down on the kitchen floor, holding that phone like it was the proof of my shattered world. Then I found it, the clause. A part of Mom's will that Brooke must have missed in her rush to take over everything. A legal clause Mom had inserted just months before she died. A clause that gave me the right to reclaim the bakery if Brooke misused family funds or betrayed the business. I realized she had kicked me out, thinking she could erase me from the family story. But she hadn't seen that clause. And now I held the power. That night I didn't cry. I started planning. I didn't cry that night. I started planning. After that night, everything changed. I knew this wasn't just about a family feud anymore. This was about justice, about protecting everything Mom had built, and about standing up for myself. But I couldn't rush it. I needed a plan. And I had to be smart. First, I locked down my own phone and computer. I deleted any trace of my searching through Brooke's messages, and made sure no one suspected I was onto her. Then, I started gathering proof, quietly and carefully. I reached out to a trusted lawyer who specialized in family business disputes. His name was Mr. Carter, and I'd met him once through Mom. I explained the situation without revealing too much, just enough for him to understand the seriousness. He told me to collect every piece of evidence I could: bank statements, receipts, contracts, photos, anything that showed Brooke's misuse of funds and betrayal of the bakery. Over the next few days, I went through old bank records, emails, and paperwork Mom had kept in her office. I even contacted a private investigator to discreetly track Brooke's business dealings. I was methodical. Every step I took was calculated. I wasn't going to let my emotions make me reckless. Meanwhile, Brooke acted like nothing was wrong. She flaunted her new bakery on social media, posted happy photos, and tried to keep up appearances. She thought I was defeated. But I was gathering my army, one piece of evidence at a time. I found invoices showing large sums withdrawn from our family accounts with no clear explanation. I uncovered contracts she had signed without consulting me, binding our family name to shady business deals. The most damning evidence was a secretly recorded conversation from a staff member at her new bakery, who overheard Brooke and her lover discussing how they planned to push me out completely. With every new discovery, my resolve hardened. I wasn't just fighting for money. I was fighting for my mother's legacy, for the bakery she had poured her heart into for decades, and for my own dignity. Mr. Carter helped me draft a legal strategy. We prepared to file a lawsuit that would not only reclaim the bakery, but expose Brooke's betrayal publicly. We planned every move carefully, from the initial court filing to the eventual showdown. The tension was building, But I stayed calm, like a soldier waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Brooke's mistake was underestimating me. She thought kicking me out of the bakery was the end. But I had a secret weapon, the clause in Mom's will. The clause she hadn't seen. I had proof, legal support, and the truth on my side. Now I was ready. She thought I'd never fight back. But she forgot. I've been trained to win wars without raising my voice. The day I filed the lawsuit felt like stepping into a battlefield I was ready for. I walked into the courthouse with a calm I hadn't felt in weeks. Every step was measured, every breath steady. This wasn't about anger anymore. This was about justice. Brooke was caught off guard. She had always believed I was broken, that I'd disappear quietly. But when the papers were served, the shock on her face was priceless. The courtroom was packed. Friends, neighbors, even some of our loyal bakery customers came to see the showdown. I noticed Brooke's lover sitting behind her, looking tense. I handed over all the evidence we collected, the bank statements, contracts, the recorded conversations, everything. Mr. Carter presented the clause in Mom's will that I had added years ago, a clause that protected my share of the bakery and any assets tied to it. Brooke hadn't noticed it during her rush to take control. The judge listened carefully, and for the first time in weeks, I felt hope. When it was my turn to speak, I kept my voice calm but steady. "I'm not here to tear my family apart," I said. "I'm here to protect what my mother built and to make sure justice is served." Then came the moment that silenced the entire courtroom. I played the audio recording. Brooke's voice came through crystal clear, admitting to plans of betrayal and deception, plans to take everything and push me out forever. You could hear a pin drop. Brooke's confident facade crumbled right there. The evidence was overwhelming. In the days that followed, the truth spread like wildfire through our community. Brooke tried to defend herself, but the facts were undeniable. The court ruled in my favor. I regained my rightful place in the family bakery. And the clause in Mom's will? It ensured Brooke had no claim to the business or the savings she drained. The victory wasn't just legal, it was personal. I'd fought quietly, strategically, and I'd won. The courtroom scene was the climax of months of pain and planning, but it was also the start of a new chapter. The courtroom went silent. I played the audio file, and everyone heard what she really thought of me. Months have passed since the courtroom battle ended. The dust has settled, and the bakery, our family's legacy, is thriving again, but on my terms. Losing Mom was the hardest thing I've ever faced. Losing my sister's trust felt almost as painful. But through this, I learned something important. Blood doesn't always guarantee loyalty. What mattered most was protecting what my mother and I had built together. The bakery isn't just a business. It's memories. Early mornings with Mom kneading dough, the smell of fresh bread filling the air, my sister and I laughing behind the counter. Now, it's a place where I'm rebuilding not only the business but myself. I'm not the same person who walked out of that house when Brooke kicked me out. That moment, painful as it was, forced me to find strength I didn't know I had. The clause I added in Mom's will? It wasn't just a legal shield. It was a symbol of my foresight, my refusal to be powerless. And I was right. Brooke never saw it coming. She took almost everything, the business control, the savings, the trust. But she never took my resolve, my dignity, or my hope. I've learned to rebuild my life from the ashes of betrayal. I focus on what I can control: hard work, honest relationships, and peace of mind. The bakery is growing again. Customers come in not just for the pastries, but because they know the story. A story of resilience and justice. Sometimes, people ask me if I hate Brooke now. The truth? I don't waste my energy on hate. I wish I could say things could have been different, but some wounds run too deep. I've chosen to move forward, not looking back with bitterness, but stepping forward with strength. My mother's legacy lives on through the bakery and through me. And through this journey, I've learned one crucial lesson. Protect yourself, prepare for the worst, but never lose sight of who you are. To anyone watching this, if you've ever been betrayed by someone you loved, know this. You are stronger than your pain. You have the power to fight back, to rebuild, and to rise again. No one can take away your soul. And sometimes, the greatest victories come from the quietest battles. Thanks for listening to my story. If you found strength in it, please like, share, and subscribe. There are more stories coming, real stories like mine, stories about resilience, justice, and hope. Until next time, stay strong. She took everything except my soul, and from that, I rebuilt my life, not for her, not for revenge, but for me.